and I'm watching another
Welcome
video.
to a brief discussion on how to support math questioning strategies for young children aged 2 through grade 3 using the IES practice guide, Teaching Math to Young Children. Let's get started. There are 5 recommendations in the practice guide, and all are based on a systematic review of research conducted by researchers and the wisdom of practitioners with expertise and experience in early mathematics development. In this video, we will discuss recommendation 4, which suggests that we teach children to view and describe their world mathematically. So what do we mean by teaching children to view and describe their world mathematically? Expert researchers and practitioners recommend that teachers encourage children to look for opportunities to describe math ideas in the world around them, gradually moving from informal representations in language to formal representations in math vocabulary as children's understanding grows. By exploring their environment and interacting with manipulatives, children can begin to apply their math knowledge. For example, using concrete objects can support children's progression from verbalizing numerical representations with words such as a lot or more to counting. And at first, counting of objects may not be accurate, but over time, children begin to count accurately and then recognize how many. Expert researchers and practitioners suggest 4 ways to carry out this recommendation. First, encourage children to use informal methods to represent math concepts, processes, and solutions. Math instruction for young children should begin with informal representations of math ideas. Initially, teachers should link math ideas to familiar experiences, terms, or analogies, resisting the urge to use more formal methods until children have a conceptual foundation for understanding them. Children as young as preschoolers can learn to talk about the many strategies they invent. We've got to give them time to think. We have to use self-talk when necessary, and then we have to model. For example, some children might know 3 plus 2 by counting 3, then 2, then 5, whereas others might put up 3 fingers and 2 fingers and then recognize 5. The practice guide provides some examples of how to teach informal representations of math concepts. The second way to carry out recommendation 4 is to help children link formal math vocabulary, symbols, and procedures to their informal knowledge or experiences. Teachers should explicitly teach children math words so that they have the vocabulary needed to connect their informal knowledge to formal terms. Teachers can start with informal vocabulary and then connect those familiar terms to formal terms. For example, teachers might begin with the informal phrase, take away, and then later explain that subtract has the same meaning. Vocabulary that is used during math instruction does not need to be restricted to only math activities. For example, teachers can make a comment about which child is standing first in line, or which child has more or fewer objects than another child. As another example, while children are drawing pictures of their family, they can talk about the number of family members and who is older or younger. The practice guide provides examples of lessons for linking familiar concepts to formal symbols. The third way to carry out this recommendation is to use open-ended questions to prompt children to apply their math knowledge. Teachers should ask questions that require children to use math-related terms to describe something. For example, asking, how can we find out how many children are here today, how many snacks we need, etc. Gives children the opportunity to communicate about a math strategy and then to practice that strategy. Additionally, when asking open-ended questions, teachers can employ techniques to encourage math-related conversation. Before calling on a child, teachers might allow enough time for more than just a few children to think of an answer. When in groups, one child can help another child come up with an answer. Rather than saying yes or no quickly, teachers can allow multiple possibilities to be discussed. For example, a teacher can show an entire class a picture of a mother and a daughter holding hands, waiting for the school bus. The teacher can ask, how are these 2 people different? One child may answer, the mother is bigger than the daughter. Another child may answer, the mom is wearing stripes and the daughter is wearing dots. Although the teacher should ultimately focus on correct answers that best fit a math context, the teacher should acknowledge that there are multiple correct responses. Examples of questions related to the math content areas that teachers can ask are included in the practice guide. The last way to carry out recommendation 4 is to encourage children to recognize and talk about math in everyday situations. Teachers can encourage math thought and conversation by asking children for their help with problems that arise throughout the day. For example, a teacher might say, "I have to figure out how many cups we're going to need for the birthday party. Can you help me? How should we do that?" Once children solve the problem, teachers can have them describe their method by asking a sequence of questions that prompts them to share the solution and the strategies used to reach the solution. For example, if the problem involves how many orange slices are needed for snack time, a teacher could ask the children for an answer. Then the teacher could say, "How'd you figure that out? What did you do first? Then what did you do?" During small group time, the teacher and children could have a more formal discussion about the steps used to solve the problem. For further information related to teaching math to young children, please take some time to review the full practice guide. Also, visit the REL Central website for more education research and resources to support schools and student outcomes.
So I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm going to
have a conceptual foundation. Also, visit the REL Central website for more education research and resources to support schools and student outcomes.
Okay, great. So now, still need to just touch on something, simply because, being born in America and really understanding where we are in America, it's crazy. As people whose family came up along the lines of slavery. Because you always have to fight for every resource that you get. And I don't understand why we have to fight so hard when it's the law and compulsory laws are real and people can be punished for not sending their children to school. But there's no punishment for the system if they don't help the children and the children become system dependent. It's just kind of crazy because it's criminal on both ends, perhaps. Anyway, in this video, I'm looking for some more videos to share about just how we should be thinking, at least from my perspective, what I think about all the time. Because just because I grew up that way doesn't mean other people have grown up or even feel the same way that I do. Stop the recording.